The heavyweight king's Easter homecoming spun from celebration to nightmare in a heartbeat, and that single jolt sets a pulse that never slows for the next 20 minutes of screen time. Picture Francis Ngannou, the wrecking ball who once punched his way out of a Cameroonian sand quarry, riding a sleek motorbike through Yaoundé's holiday traffic. Then, screech, shatter, screams. Local outlets report a collision with a 17-year-old girl whose injuries prove fatal despite his paying every hospital bill, and crowds now chant for answers outside the police station. In an instant, the predator, already grieving his lost infant son, is staring at another grave, and the footage of mourners marching with candles feels heavier than any knockout highlight. Ngannou's entourage locks down tighter than Fort Knox. Reporters jam his gym's iron gates while neighbors whisper about skid marks on the asphalt, conflicting witness statements, and whether the bike's custom racing slicks were street legal. Insurance investigators quietly photograph the scene, and a senior traffic police official, speaking off the record, admits they're under unimaginable pressure because the athlete is a national hero and a potential defendant in the same breath. Hashtags in French, English, and Fulfulde demand autopsy details and CCTV footage. Lawyers circle the bereaved family offering pro bono representation, and conspiracy blogs theorize sabotage, defective brakes, even political rivals framing the champ. Meanwhile, Ngannou's Instagram, normally flooded with training clips, shows only a black square and a single broken heart emoji. Every hour the silence stretches, sympathy curdles into suspicion, and the tragedy mutates from accident to cultural lightning rod.
How does this moment feel to you right now?
I don't know. I can just think about anything that my son could be, I only take this fight because of him. I wanted to fight for him. But about that.
Inside the UFC apex, Dustin Poirier revisits his tournament pitch with polished slides, comparing early Pride GP mayhem to modern safety science, arguing that adrenaline offsets fatigue and that fans crave something primal. He cites viewership spikes from One Championship's Muay Thai marathons, offers to fight bare shin for extra spectacle, even volunteers reduced purse if he quits mid-event. Dana White listens, fingers temple, then produces a stack of commission letters flatly refusing 12 possible round combinations. Liability actuaries predict neurological risk exceeding boxing's notorious 1990s levels. Poirier laughs, shrugs, and pivots to legacy planning. He wants a brass band marching him to the cage in the Smoothie King Center, wants gumbo in the locker room, wants a thank you Nola video montage before walkouts. Friends reveal he's secretly financed a pediatric wing in Lafayette and intends to donate his entire fight kit to raise hurricane relief funds. The baby news magnifies the stakes. Every punch thrown in July is a postcard to his unborn son or daughter, proof that dad emptied the tank when it counted. Arman Tsarukyan's Dubai camp looks like a Bond film. Heat lamps for altitude simulation, underwater treadmills for joint rehab, and Dagestani wrestlers rotating on him every 60 seconds, so cardio never dips. He hasn't competed since the Dariush knockout, but logs every session on Whoop, publicly posting heart rate graphs to taunt rivals. The karate combat pit intrigues him because its curved walls prevent stalling. Observers expect scramble chains we haven't seen since prime BJ Penn. Zainakov, nicknamed the Python, owns a Sambo world title and an arm triangle finish streak, yet bettors still slate Tsarukyan as a 3-1 favorite. If Arman wins in style, pundits speculate he could hijack the October pay-per-view co-main slot. If he loses, critics will declare him overhyped grappling fodder. Either way, he forces his name into every podcast rundown the week Islam Makhachev's opponent's search reaches fever pitch.
I don't know, they're both not good, so I don't follow them. So it's like 50-50 fight, it's just hype fight. They're not like, I don't watch their fights because...
Ian Machado. Gary's Kansas City stat sheet shows 102 strikes landed, 84 of them jabs, average engagement distance over 2 meters, a fencer's duel in raging brawling purists. Sean Brady highlights Gary's 0 for 2 takedown defense in round 3 and warns, a real wrestler will fold that fancy footwork like cheap lawn furniture. Gary fires back on X with a split-screen gif, Brady tapping to Chiesa on one side, Gary blowing kisses to the crowd on the other, captioned, "Levels lad." The Joaquin Buckley subplot snowballs when cage-side lip readers claim Buckley muttered "baby daddy" as Gary's wife passed. TikTok sleuths dissect the clip frame by frame, generating 5 million views and a cottage industry of reaction duets. Gary channels the frenzy by dropping a limited edition merch line, Touch, Move, Talk, that sells out in 2 hours, funneling hate watchers straight into his revenue stream while the rankings panel debates if optics should factor into title contention. Guram Kutateladze's dismissal stings hardest. His split decision win over Mateusz Gamrot aged beautifully once Gamrot became a top 5 killer, yet consecutive injuries and visa delays eroded the Georgian's momentum until matchmakers simply stopped calling. Kevin Jousset's tale is colder. 2 sensational wins. Then Brian Battle's head kick erased his hype overnight, and a sluggish decision loss sealed his fate. Fighters DM journalists anonymously, fearing they'll be next when quarterly budget audits strike. One manager reveals a chilling metric. 3 strikes absorbed for everyone landed over 2 fights equals probationary status, even if fans barely notice. Released athletes scramble to PFL Europe, ONE or Octagon, but salary floors there hover at a fraction of the UFC's show money. The cut list reminder is as brutal as any elbow. This sport loves you until the algorithm says it doesn't. Khabib's exit row post racks 2 million likes in 6 hours, and Reddit detectives trace his seat assignment history, discovering he actually pays extra for the legroom but still refuses to relinquish it to airline staff. A passive-aggressive crusade against what he calls corporate nonsense. Patrice Evra's FaceTime clip shows Khabib demonstrating wrist control drills while Evra giggles, wearing 4-ounce gloves over his designer watch. Dagestan TV seizes the moment, replaying the video alongside archival footage of Khabib wrestling bears, declaring him unofficial coach to the stars. The meta joke. Khabib promotes Islam Makhachev's brand every time he appears harmlessly comedic. Hardcore fans dissect technical advice he slips into jokes, casuals just share the meme, and the champion's name ends up trending either way.
For him, he really wants to fight you next year.
No, man, I'm tired to give chance the small guys, you know. I need my second belt, you know. It's nothing excited.
Corey Sandhagen's AI experiment isn't limited to one roast reel. He asks ChatGPT to draft 5 potential walkout speeches, a haiku insulting Figgy's weight cut history, and an alternate persona called Cyber Sandman, who speaks only in 1990 dial-up noises. He shares snippets on his Discord fan server, encouraging subscribers to vote on the meanest lines. The winning barb, "Your prime left the cage the night Moreno took your soul on layaway," earns a limited animated NFT that sells for $99 and grants holders access to private sparring footage. Figueiredo responds old school, smashing a watermelon with Sandhagen's face printed on it. But the internet favors novelty, and media outlets headline, "AI beats God of War in mind games." Sponsorship reps from tech startups already sniff around Sandhagen's camp, eyeing an ad read that says, "Written by humans, approved by robots." Reloaded, Javier Mendez's GOAT debate goes viral after he pulls out training camp analytics. Islam Makhachev averages 1.7 submission attempts per round in sparring, while landing 52% of head kicks thrown, numbers eerily close to John Jones in 2011 and Demetrius Johnson in 2017. He recounts a private session where Islam grappled with heavyweight Blagoy Ivanov for 40 minutes without giving up position, then strapped on 16-ounce gloves and held his own boxing 8 hard rounds with 2 regional champions, never dipping below 180 punches per round. Mendez warns that boredom is Islam's biggest foe. If we can't find him fresh challenges, complacency becomes the opponent. The comment sparks fan polls. Should the UFC greenlight a champ vs. champ showdown at 170 or risk Topuria's Cinderella run at 155? Russian broadcasters hint at a Moscow stadium event if Islam jumps weight. Abu Dhabi counters with record site fee offers, and suddenly the lightweight kingpin holds leverage even Conor McGregor once envied.
Как ты считаешь, кто опаснее сейчас для Ислама Махачева, Арман Tsarukyan или Илья Топурьев?
Мое личное мнение, не то чтобы там опасен, скажем так, более конкурентен. Я думаю, что Царукян. Я думаю, Арман посерьезнее боец, чем Топурья. Топурья хороший боец в 66, а в 70 мы его не видели.
So where does that leave us? A heavyweight icon wrapped in tragedy and potential legal peril, a Louisiana legend scripting a farewell that could bankroll a children's hospital, a brash Irish welterweight weaponizing outrage into merch sales, an Armenian shark circling any division that smells of opportunity, two fresh castaways learning how cold the MMA ocean really is, a retired champion cracking jokes while subtly marketing his protege, and a bantamweight thinker proving AI can punch below the belt. The octagon is more than 8 sides. It's a kaleidoscope of human triumph, error, reinvention, and occasionally algorithmic mischief. Blink, and tomorrow's headline will eclipse today's drama. Which storyline grips you hardest? Ngannou's chilling quiet, Poirier's golden sunset, Gary's viral turbulence, or the robots writing trash talk for flesh and blood fighters? Tap the comments because by the time your thumbs stop, the next shockwave will already be rumbling down the timeline.